Welcome to Artists and the City, where you learn about new artists that you should know right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we're here with Danny Fallon. What's up, Danny?
Hello. Hi. Good to be here.
This is a little too close. Get out of here.
Yeah, what is this? Like, are we filming an OnlyFans episode or?
No, we're not. Who's gonna pay for that?
I don't know. The same people that'll pay for a podcast.
No one's gonna pay for this shit. We're talking to.
You don't
I
have
don't
to charge money. You can just do it for the love of the game.
Stop being funny.
Okay.
This is not a comedy podcast. But who are you?
I'm Danny Fallon. That's my name.
And what do you do?
I do stand-up comedy. I write, and I guess you could say I act.
I didn't know that you write on that. I mean, I've seen your comedy sketches, but writing as in, like, do you...
I'm working on a book.
Holy shit.
About my life.
You got way hotter just now.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's good to know. I think we are filming an OnlyFans. That's exactly the dialogue for...
That's the beginning of
cool,
a
porno. Cool comedian. Wow. I didn't know you wrote. What else do you write? Would you like to write on my vagina?
Oh my god. We're at a podcast where we talk about art.
Yes.
Yes. That's what we're trying to do. Not an OnlyFan. Although a lot of people did suggest that I should make an OnlyFan.
No, I don't think so.
Really?
You
wouldn't pay for this?
No, I don't pay for OnlyFans, so I wouldn't pay for you either. But it's not personal.
Okay. Thanks for not being so personal about it.
Yeah, I didn't want to.
Thanks for not being interested.
It wasn't like, oh, I pay for plenty of sex workers, but not you. No.
Okay, you just don't pay.
In general, it's a principle,
okay.
So that I never have to be rude to someone and say I wouldn't buy theirs. If you don't buy any, you don't have to specify why you don't buy someone's.
This is not rude at all, so thank you so much.
And also...
But, okay, sure.
All right.
But also what?
No, I just think you got a lot going on, and I think that you... I don't think you need the... I don't want to sound old-fashioned, but I don't think you need the OnlyFans thing. You know? I think you got a lot going on, and I think that if you keep your energies focused on that, I think that'll take away.
I think so.
If you start getting like, oh, I'm into this OnlyFans thing, and a lot of people can get sidetracked.
But like the other day, I took a couple photos.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I want to charge people to look at them because it was very explicit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I do think that I believe in myself.
Yes.
I'll make money off of stuff.
Yes.
That's not stripping.
Yes. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Thank you.
Because I think there probably are certain psychological ramifications to sex work.
Okay.
Like I have done sexual things for money.
Are you gonna talk about the time?
The subway?
Yes.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't need to go into explicit details. I can, but we don't need to make the whole podcast about that. But I'm just saying, having performed sexual acts in exchange for cash, I will say that I think there probably have been certain psychological consequences.
I think the closest thing I've done was to get myself body painted and half naked dancing. Mm-hmm. And I got $100 off of it.
And how did you feel about that?
It felt terrible. I honestly,
really?
I love attention. I love dancing. I would love to get paid for my dance, but I just didn't like the painting on nipple part.
Yeah.
It was just very cold. Like cold paint on your nipple, it's just like feels weird.
Yeah, sure. The temperature, was the big part that was bad.
Yeah, and then I couldn't look at. I have the video of it. I just never watched it. But I don't. I mean, it happens.
It does.
Yeah, it happens.
I did a fully naked comedy show.
Oh my god, you did?
Yeah.
How was that?
It was liberating. Yeah, it was actually surprisingly like I was just like, oh, this doesn't really affect me. I was not really fazed by it at all.
Because I know how you do comedy. You just you just stand with like one hand in your pocket. Mm-hmm. But there's no pocket. What happens?
Just hand on the hip like this.
Okay.
Or just like I think it was just mostly this.
Wait, can I ask how much you got paid for that? I mean,
Sure.
can this be shared?
Yeah, absolutely. It was not a lot. It was like $35.
That's too little.
I know. Trust me, I know.
That's too little.
I know. I know.
But
I've gotten paid more to do comedy with my
I know. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But
Like a lot more. Like at least, like, I guess eight times that.
But
At least once.
oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I've probably made like, I think the most I've made for a show is like $250 to $300.
But what happened? Sorry, like naked comedy show. I have a lot of questions about it.
Sure.
What if you get a boner along the way?
Good for you then. If you can get a boner in that situation, you are a rare breed of human being.
I mean, do people get boner along the way?
I don't
like,
know.
Do you...
I guess a lot of people were suggesting I take like Viagra beforehand.
Why, to get a boner?
Because they were like,
throughout the whole show.
But I was like, no, I don't. It's not about that. It's not about like a big dick while you're telling jokes.
I mean, your dick is not gonna be bigger even if you take Viagra. You get.
You could. I feel like Viagra would increase your chances of getting hard. It's not going to make you hard, but you're more likely. You're adding a little boost, a little like, it's like training wheels for your dick.
Okay. I don't have a dick, so I don't know how that mechanism works. But
yeah, they should make like a woman Viagra that just like makes you more likely to get wet.
I mean,
it's just.
Danny, I don't have a problem with that. Like, I can tell you that.
That's good.
But for comedy show,
mm-hmm.
for women comics, even if we get wet throughout the show, they wouldn't know.
Right.
Only I know.
Right.
You just wet pussy. Yes. But for dicks, it's out there.
Yes, it is out there.
Okay, I just gotta go to that show, you know?
There's
so curious.
Different variations. The one that I did was a one-off that was like not...
I thought there was only one naked comedy show.
No, it's just like anything else. People have done it in different formats, you know? This was like a knockoff version of the one that everyone talks about doing in New York.
I see. I actually pitched myself to go to one of those shows and try to paint there. But I just didn't follow through. It didn't work out. But
yeah,
it's gonna happen, you know, universe.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Works like that. But here we're trying to talk about comedy as an art form. And well, let's start with that. Is comedy art?
Yes.
What's your favorite part about stand-up comedy?
My favorite part about stand-up comedy
as an art.
As an art would be the ability to express certain ideas that normally have no place in conversation, or that like certain topics maybe that you can never, it would be really hard to ever bring up with other people, but in stand-up you can, and not only can you bring them up, you will actually make people laugh about them, rather than be uncomfortable or angry or any sort of negative emotion. You're actually making them laugh, and the feeling is that you've kind of opened them up to this idea. So that's probably my favorite artistic thing about stand-up. Yeah,
I agree with you. I think the coolest part of stand-up comedy for me is that you're on stage, on a big stage, just one person with a mic, and then you just grab the whole room with that. It's such a cool experience. Like, I've been to, I went to see Ali Wong one time at a great venue, I forgot. And it was just packed. It was packed. She was so funny. But interestingly enough, the biggest applaud / laughter she got was when she said, "So I made beef." Everyone just roared. It was awesome.
Yeah.
But I think, I don't know, it's just like attention whoring me makes that so fascinating. Feels that it is so fascinating.
Yeah. You like the attention of it all?
Yeah. I think that's why I'm doing comedy. I'm not even funny.
You just want people to pay attention to you?
Yeah.
Where do you think that comes from? Did you not get enough attention as a child or something?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And you think this will make up for it later in life?
I don't think so. It's just going to be miserable.
But it temporarily feels good.
Yes.
When you're on stage, you feel good.
I do feel good. Like, going back to what you said about conveying certain idea to people. And the laughter is the instant affirmation that you are being understood and your thoughts are shared. And that is the coolest part of comedy. Like, you get agreement from people.
Yep, nailed it. 100%.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the mechanism is, if you laugh, then I believe that you understood me.
Yes. But as an art form, I still struggle a little bit because I feel like there are things I want to say, but I feel like I have to say other things that can make people laugh. So the idea is like, I gotta hone my skills to be able to say what I want to say while being funny.
Yes.
And that's the hard part.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the journey. Is like, yeah, a lot of people when they first start off are like, oh, I'll just do like you're saying, I want to talk about these things, but I know these things will make people laugh. So you kind of play around here to get your wheels, to get your legs, and be like, okay, let's talk about dating. Let's talk about dating, porn, drugs, poop. Really easy, kind of like already inherently shocking, high energy stuff.
Yeah.
That doesn't require as much skill. And then you kind of like meander into some of the other things like, okay, family can be kind of easy. Oh, my mom's crazy. You know, like my mom says these things, but she really means these things. Like that's a thing a lot with people from different languages. They'll be like, my mom says this, but she doesn't understand the language. Like that's kind of like low hanging fruit sometimes. It can be done really, anything could be done really tastefully.
Yeah.
And even things that are like, whatever, sex, you could still do a brilliant sex joke. Just because it's technically easy doesn't mean you
What is
can't
a
do,
brilliant sex joke?
You know, like something, I'm trying to think of an example. Like Daniel Tosh has, like I was just telling you about that guy. He has this joke about, you know, sex and dating where he's just like, he talks about, he basically just goes on this thing where he's like, women, just know that your man has never wanted to have sex with you more than the very first time you ever had sex.
Repeat that. Sorry.
Just know, women, just know that your man has never wanted to have sex with you more than the very first time he had sex with you.
So they just want to have sex more and more.
No, the opposite. As a man, the most I'll ever be attracted to you is if I've never had sex with you and I want to have sex with you. That first time. Then once you have it, he's saying it's fleeting. I want to have sex with you less and less as time goes on.
But it's the other way for women.
Well, he kind of talks about that.
I feel like it's the other way for women.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's a brilliant sex joke because it's like this very unspoken thing that he just brings out into the open. And whether you agree with him or not, it doesn't matter. It's comedy. He's taking a hard stance and he's selling the shit out of it. And it's fucking hilarious. He goes to this one point where he's like, when I'm in a relationship, I can go months without thinking about sex. When I'm single, I need to masturbate 2 times before I leave my home. Otherwise, I will sexually assault someone.
I don't know why I like this joke, but
it's hilarious.
Yeah, it is hilarious.
Because it's like he's giving you like this, you know, insight into male psychology.
Men suck. Men are gross. Men are fucking gross.
Yeah. Yeah, men are, I mean, I don't want to be like, yeah. But, yeah, historically speaking, men have been...
Men are just gross.
Yeah.
They gross me out. It's just like...
We're creeps. We're like perverts. We're just all like, even the nicest ones are just like deranged people when it comes to sex. That doesn't mean like, I mean, it's just, yeah, it's in our nature, I guess.
But I'm bisexual. I can try to be with women, but I just like I like men. It's although they're gross, it's disgusting.
Yeah,
I don't want to be like this.
It's part of it, right? It's just wanting the taboo, the dirtiness of it all.
I think this goes back to why I like comedy. Because it just feels so wrong to be doing it.
Okay.
this is not very articulated thought, but I like going to direction that people don't expect. Because for me, it was a huge shift for me to become the painter.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think a lot of my friends never expected that. I didn't expect that for myself. And me doing stand-up comedy was also kind of like that because I never thought that I would be doing comedy. So it still feels wrong to be doing it, to be honest. I'm happy that I'm getting better at it, but it's just the fact that I'm doing something that's not right for me, but it does feel right to be doing it.
Why do all the wrong things feel so right?
I don't know. That should be the title of the podcast.
That's a song. I don't forget what, something like, why does everything that killed me make me feel so alive?
I like that.
Which song is that?
I like that a lot.
I think it might even be Imagine Dragons. Imagine dragging this dick across your face. Am I right?
I don't know that, but he is very hot. There was like one video of him.
Really?
There was like one video of him just like raging on stage. Hot.
Yeah.
Very hot.
Do you think that, so you're saying that you like the rebellious nature of stand-up comedy?
Yes.
And do you think that is like a cultural thing? Growing up with like strict Korean parents, and then you're like, okay, I can, like I don't know what the societal pressures for you were to become, but do you feel like there's a lot of this artistic stuff is like an act of defiance against all that?
Yeah, I mean, growing up, I was just a really good kid. Very good grades. I was top of the class. I went to good school. I did everything that's expected. Even moving to New York was for a master's degree, and I ended up getting a job at the UN, very prestigious. I don't have that anymore. But those kind of things were the things that I thought that I should be doing. But my life is leading me to somewhere else. And I enjoy that journey a lot.
That's America, baby.
That is America!
You've really become an American. Actually, what I want to do, though, what would make me feel good, is if I did all these things that make no money. That would make my soul feel good.
That's it.
That's what we do over here.
That is it.
That's what we do over here.
Yeah, I am an American, but I still don't have a green card. So.
Oh, okay. Well.
I'm here for
You gotta
husband.
marry someone, yep.
I'm here for a husband. I'm casually looking for a husband. We'll see.
Yeah, you gotta sweeten the pot, I've got a friend who just did it to be nice to someone.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
For free?
I think so. I think it was like his landlord or something. It was in LA. He was living in Koreatown.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, hold up. So.
Yeah, he's like
he's a landlord?
No, his landlord. Or like he was living with like an Asian family, and he just married one of them. And I was like, dude, because he has other people. Like people will get like $10,000, like because you're committing fraud. You're doing like something crazy.
Yeah.
And he just like did it just to like
Out of
I don't know, be a
goodwill.
people pleaser. Like, oh, I guess it would be more uncomfortable to say no to you. So now he's like married and he has a kid in a different state, and so like. It's probably very confusing paperwork-wise because he's technically married to someone.
Wait. So he has a kid somewhere else.
Right.
Not currently married to the child's mother.
Correct.
But he still married someone Korean or Asian
Yes.
without no money,
He didn't get anything from it.
just for goodwill.
Just goodwill. Just like, well, why not?
Thank you, man.
Why wouldn't I?
Thank you for your service to
Yeah.
Korean society.
See, do all men
I
suck
appreciate
now?
that.
Do all men suck now?
Except for that man.
It's a give and take.
But
Yes, men are.
he would probably be a creep about sex still.
Sure, but not necessarily in that situation. He wasn't in that situation.
Okay.
He wasn't like, oh, I'm going to green card you and then have sex with you. It wasn't like Uno. It wasn't like, here's a green card, boom, now reverse. You have to, Uno me or whatever.
But thank you. Thank that friend, big time.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta find someone like that.
Obviously, I can't say his name for legal reasons, but
Yeah. Would you marry me?
I need time to think about that. I'm an Aquarius.
You're Aquarius?
Yeah.
I'm not Aquariuses. They're disgusting, but you're the only Aquarius man that doesn't look like a frog.
Okay. Well, that's interesting.
Yes.
It's good to know.
Yes, I feel like a lot of Aquarius men, I do have a thing for them. I like them a lot. But they look like frogs.
Interesting.
That's a statement.
Yeah, that's a bold stance.
If you see another Aquarius man, see if they look like a frog.
I will keep that. That'll definitely get lodged in there.
Yeah.
And next time I'm in the situation, I'll be like,
maybe you're a cusp.
I am a cusp, I think.
Pisces cusp?
I don't know, January 20th?
That's Pisces cusp.
Oh, wow.
Actually, no. Hold on. Capricorn cusp.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yes,
that's more right.
That's more right.
That's what it is.
That's more right.
I don't know anything about this stuff very much, except for the Aquarius stuff.
What do you associate with Aquarius, being Aquarius?
Free-spirited, doesn't like commitments, wants to do their own thing.
You say some psycho shit.
Yeah,
So,
just like very idealistic, has like a very humanitarian perspective on life, very much so looking at the whole world and the big picture, always in the helicopter view.
I wouldn't really say that that's an Aquarius trait, honestly. I think it's more about being okay with being eccentric.
Okay, yeah, that's part of it.
Yeah.
I think that I've seen stuff about that.
Yeah.
I'm just the stuff that I've read that like stuck out to me where I'm like that's true, was the stuff that I was saying and like they say like we're like aloof, and we can be like emotionally cold, but I think that it's really like that's just the way we present, but that's not really
Yeah.
the case internally. It just happens to be people like, oh, that guy's like cold or indifferent, but it's not really that. It's just the way that we can speak. We're very blunt.
Would you describe your comedy like that? Like for the listeners, if you were to explain how your comedy is like, what would you say? What kind of jokes do you make?
I would say that I make dark jokes, as cliche and trite as that sounds. I would say that, I explore the darker stuff of life, the underworld per se of American society. You know, addiction, mental illness, dysfunction. The shit that people don't want to talk about, homelessness.
Yeah.
I was going to recovery meetings, and I was just saying that like that was kind of where I realized that when I would speak and I would say certain things, people would laugh, and then I would be like, I kind of like it was when I first kind of realized that being funny could be this thing. Like, I never really saw it as an art form. Like, I grew up, I was trying to be a musician and stuff like that, and I was in a lot of bands. And then I thought drugs were going to be important with that. And then I did, drugs and music, and then it became just kind of drugs and no music. And then eventually I got sober, and whatever, I would tell stories and talk about my life and just express my inner monologue, and then people would laugh. And then they're like, oh, that feels really good when people laugh. And it's kind of a way to get these ideas out and for people to relate. Even if they're like, I don't really get what you're saying, but that's funny. That's better than just being kind of trapped in your own head.
But how is it like to be sober in comedy scene though? Because it's so close to alcohol. I feel like
it's relative. It's easy. I mean, I was like almost 5 years sober when I started comedy. Mm-hmm. So, in the way that the things that I believe about recovery, it's just like you can go anywhere, you can do anything, as long as you're, taking care of your spiritual condition and you're maintaining and doing the things that you need to do. you'll be fine. You'll be free of temptation. And so it's never been like, oh, because I'm doing stand-up, I'm triggered or tempted or whatever. I don't really think about it like that.
The way I have observed about my life is that I think I am consuming way more alcohol than usual.
Sure.
Like,
Because you do stand-up.
because I'm at like bars.
Yeah, totally.
Like,
Totally.
I talk to comics drinking beer like a comic.
Yes.
And
Totally.
it feels like it's part of the culture.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I already went through that with music and
drugs.
And drugs and being an artist in like, yeah, it is normal. It's like, okay, this person has beer, this person has acid, this person has, mushrooms. Whenever you go to band practice, you're smoking weed, you're drinking beers. Like, I already went through, and I just was in that culture for so long of just being around things and doing them all the time. But I already went through this whole thing where it's like, if I do something, if I smoke weed or if I have a beer, it's going to lead me back to this situation where I'm shooting heroin and I'm not participating in life at all. I won't be able to do art. I mean, one of the worst parts about being a complete degenerate drug addict was that I was shooting dope and just being like, I'm not doing anything. Like I want to go create art. I feel that I'm on this planet to do something meaningful and I'm not doing any of that. I've just become completely like a rat in a cage, addicted to the button. Let me press the button. And this is a meaningless existence. So knowing all that deep down inside, when I'm around and someone's like, oh, do you want to join? I'm like, no, because I already know where that leads me. And I already know to myself, like I've made this agreement with myself, which is like, I can either have life and no drugs, or I can have drugs and no life. So I make the decision, no drugs for me, please, so that I can have all of the rest life has to offer. Because for someone like me, I only really get one of those two choices. I don't get somewhere in the middle like most people.
Because you have been suffering from addiction before?
Right. Because I have the disease of addiction, yeah.
Okay. It's more about like self-controlling, and at this point you're kind of over it, you're saying. Like the problem that I'm experiencing, it's not even like a problem. I'm having fun. I like it.
Sure.
Yeah, but like you're not tempted by it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, because it's like, well, yeah, I just know, I know where it leads.
But
I've already lived that.
when was that moment that you decided like, wow, I gotta be sober?
There was many moments like that, and they were not always fruitful, obviously, until the last time. There were so many moments where I was like, oh man, I need to get sober. This is so bad. Like there would be moments of like, I'm homeless. I have no phone. I am addicted to drugs.
Oh wow, it was terrible.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like really bad.
Yeah, it was really bad. How
So-
old were you?
From about 18 to 21.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm happy that you are living your life now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Totally,
I love that.
Yeah, totally. There were so many moments of like, yeah, this is awful. I can't go on living like this. I need to get sober. But I couldn't get sober, until I finally just went to rehab and went to recovery meetings and really bought into what they had to say and really gave those things a real shot.
Yeah.
And I just surrendered. I was like, that's the only thing that I haven't really fully tried, and I'm going to try it. And yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool. And that was back in Florida.
Yeah, I got sober in Florida.
And you started comedy in Florida. It's been about 5 years since you've been doing comedy. How was the transition like from moving from Florida to New York?
The transition, I would say it was like going from being a big fish in a little pond to a little pond in a big fish. No, I messed that up. No, it's just like my aunt said lovingly, she said, it's like, you're not even a little fish in a big pond, you're pond scum. Like it was like being below even being a little fish. That's the initial
Pond what?
Culture shock. Pond scum.
Pond scum?
Yeah.
That's like not even a fish.
It's like no, yeah, it's like
Plankton.
bacteria that lives in a pond. Yeah.
We are a bacteria.
Yeah.
In New York scene, which is actually true.
Right.
I actually love that.
You do.
I actually love being
Okay.
no one.
Really?
Because I felt like I was not no one in Korea, which is a big statement. I mean, I went viral a number of times. I started comedy club. I felt like I was just not ready for it. I grew a lot throughout that going through that moment, but so basically I went viral. I don't know if I told you about this. I went viral because of this one video where I was kicking out a heckler. I was not funny enough. And it made a lot of controversy because no one made a video of a comic kicking out a heckler. And I'm like, when I first watched that video went home, watched that video, I'm like, this is some American shit. This is like something that a comic would post. Kicking, like heckler versus thing.
Right.
So therefore I made a video that was like, people be like, wow, can comedians ever kick out someone on stage? And they have never seen that.
Are you saying it was a brand new concept to people in Korea?
Yes.
Oh, right.
So, but like, because I was less funny, people are like, that's not funny, blah, 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 blah. So a lot of shares, a lot of comments.
Women get torched. Have you ever looked at like a woman's video on Instagram and seen like the comments are so bad? Men are like assholes, dude.
Yeah.
It sucks though, because here's the thing. Sometimes the clips are kind of bad.
Yeah.
But it's like, then the dudes just go, this girl sucks. She's only there because she's hot. And then it's just like so many people saying that. And it's like, well, that only makes it blow up. And like, I feel bad because like, it's a weird thing because some women like, yeah, you get all these views. So maybe you do think it's funny. And sometimes it's funny. Great. I'm not being like misogynistic, but sometimes objectively, it's not that funny of a bit. And it could blow up. And if you don't have people in your corner that actually can be real with you, you could just be like, whatever, I got 1 million views. I'm hilarious. And it's like, no, everything that does well on the internet doesn't do well because of the intended value or the intended barometer. You know, you might try to post something serious and it might do well because people think you're an asshat for posting it.
Bro, that's exactly why I blew up. Like, it was just, I look at it back and I'm like, it was just not funny.
Yeah.
It was just not funny.
Yeah.
I get it. But like at that point, I just never thought that I'm going to get 2 million views. Never thought that people have so much opinion about it.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was just going to get like, I don't know, 1,000 views and be over it. Like all of my clips. But shit blew up.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah. And, but good thing is that a lot of people came to see me after that.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
In Korea?
In Korea.
That's great.
It was cool. Like it was happening at my club in Busan. So like that drove a lot of people in. So at the end, it's a win.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole, you just got to ride the wave. And like, if you could segue it into, hey, however you get people in, and then hopefully once they come to see you, you have something of value to offer them. Yeah. You know, and then you keep them intrigued.
That's what I was trying to say, that like maybe I was not ready for the attention, because I was like, wow, some people are actually coming to see me. I gotta be like funny. Yeah. But I'm like, am I ready for this? Am I have like killer jokes? I feel like I didn't.
Well, that's a good place to be. I still feel that way all the time. I'm in a place now where I'm like, I don't know if I'm at a place where I'm like, I don't think that I have really good shit, and I'm like working on all this new stuff. I have old stuff that I thought was good and tight, but I'm kind of like not in the same emotional place to tell it. Yeah. And also I feel like maybe it's kind of like just phased out, and maybe it was funny then, but I think it's good to be a real artist. You should be in a constant state of self-doubt, because how else will you grow? If you don't doubt yourself, then you're just like, oh, my shit's good. My shit doesn't stink. And then you'll just stay here. Yeah. Like John Lennon, right? Everyone, like, he was like, I hate all my songs.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And you hear that and you're like, John, no, John, we love your song.
Yeah.
No, John. But you're like, I guess that's what he had to feel like for him to make. And I think that there's a certain point of like, mental health and like, dude, that kind of sucks. Like, maybe that's a little bit of hyperbole, but maybe that's whatever. Like, I've kind of accepted that with art where it's like, even with stand-up, sometimes a joke does well, everyone laughs, and I'm like, I don't know if that was really funny. Am I a hack? Whatever. Maybe that's just the plight of the artist, is you feel that way, and it's not really about you and the feeling you get. You just have to have faith that, like, okay, everyone had a good time. It's for them. I'm really being of service here. I'm providing this for other people. Like, unless you're a total narcissist or self-absorbed, I'm not listening to my material to have a good laugh. I'm not, John Lennon wasn't listening to his music to, like, maybe Kanye West listens to his own music, but, like, but also Kanye West listens to, like, Radiohead and, like, all these, like, he has an eclectic music taste, Like, you listen to other artists to get your fill, and then you output, but...
I feel so attacked right now. Because
Why?
I watch my comedy and I think it's funny.
Really?
But I don't think it's the funniest. I do not think it's the funny shit. But I just like the act of watching watching myself. I'm a narcissist, but
Okay, that's good to know. Self-awareness is key.
But going back to the growth as an artist. I think you're right, but like I think at some point just painting only made me feel so comfortable. And going into comedy made me so uncomfortable again, like feeling like I'm in the wrong place.
Yeah.
That made me grow a lot.
Yes.
I liked putting myself out there instead of my painting out there, and then that's like the big lesson for me.
Yeah. I don't think that stand-up purists like to admit this. Like people who are like just total, like, I'm a stand-up, I love comedy, but I think that stand-up has a lot of benefits for people, regardless of even if you don't end up becoming a stand-up comedian. Plenty of actors did a lot of stand-up. Like, there's videos of Andy Samberg doing stand-up, and you don't think of Andy Samberg as a stand-up.
No.
I think Seth Rogen tried it, and he talks about it. Like, it will give you a lot of skills and a lot of chops. Even, like, I see your videos where you're, like, you're doing an art performance, and then you're dancing, and you have your art. That's all requiring you to be the center of attention and to be out there and be, like, a showman or a showwoman and, like, be very performative. And, like, doing stand-up, which is, like, extremely uncomfortable, like you're saying, you're stricken with so much anxiety. Then it's like training. It's like going for a run with weights on your legs. If you're trying to be funny in a vacuum by yourself with a microphone and you're doing this thing that's very uncomfortable, then you go back to something you're really comfortable with. Dancing, being the center of attention, being more, it's more performative, whatever your thing is, it's going to feel that much easier because you already did this thing where you performed that was uncomfortable with you.
Yeah.
So that only increases your strength back in something that you're more comfortable in,
Yeah, I think that resonates so much with me because I remember when I did like a 30-minute set at Cuckoo, I felt so comfortable because I was not doing comedy the whole time. I was just talking about my art. I'm going to make art on the stage and there will be funny parts, hopefully. And I have the video on YouTube. It's not funny at all. But I just loved
great
that.
Performance.
I just loved that.
Yeah.
I just think that if I ever put out a Netflix show, for example, or TV show, whatever, it's going to be something similar. It's just an evolved version of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Totally.
what I feel like.
And that's the thing. You also can, like, like Henry Rollins. He was the lead singer of Black Flag, and now he's like a big spoken word performer. So he doesn't consider it stand-up, but he does these shows where they're just one-man shows and he just tells stories, and he gets all into it. And I even think about that with my own life where I'm like, the pressure of, like, just being funny and that specific, like, just being funny. Sometimes I just want to, like, just go up there and speak for an hour.
Yeah.
Like, what if the pressure or the onus wasn't on, like, you have to be funny for an hour? What if people were like, this is an interesting guy, he's insightful, he's got good stories, there's some wisdom. I just entertain me in however you please for an hour.
Honestly,
That's is very intriguing to me, to take that pressure off of just being constantly funny.
So the first stand-up special that I ever watched was Jared Carmichael, HBO. He is not funny. I mean, he is funny. He's funny. But in the last 10 minutes or 15 minutes of his set is not funny. He's just suffering on stage for being gay. Like, he's like, I'm out here trying to make the situation funny, but like, you know, I'm just trying to tell you my truth. That was so cool to me. And that's why I'm like, was so intrigued by stand-up.
Sure.
Because it was not funny. Like,
again, stand-up purists would hate
would
what you just
hate
said.
this. Yes.
Would hate what you just said, but it is like, fuck them. Who cares? It's like, whatever. I mean, that's the reality, is that people, the audience is so different from what comedians think in their like really myopic view of this whole thing. It's like, people don't care as much. If you went, a normal person isn't thinking, you need to get a laugh every 15 seconds. A normal person is like, I'm at a show. You go to see a movie, you're like, was it interesting? Was it good? There's so many things that make something of value besides just being funny. I mean, it's a weird thing because, like, yeah, do you need to call it something else? Like, that's semantics. Do you need to have a different label? I mean, at the end of the day, it's like you go to see someone. You don't go to see stand-up. Like, people go to see someone.
Yes.
That personality. I want them to entertain me. I want to hang out with them for an hour in a way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to do, at least. Like, I don't really care so much about the label. I don't need people to think that was a great stand-up. But if I could do this thing where it's like, I'm an entertainer for an hour and I feel good about it and I feel that in some way I've added value to people's lives, then I don't care about the specifics, the labels.
So what would you say what would it be the goal of your, I don't know, comedy career or whatever career as a performer? Like, what would be your dream gig or stage?
I think I'm pretty open. I don't like to be too concrete because I just feel like in life in general, sometimes you try to be like so concrete and then you finally get that and you're like, oh, that wasn't, you know, what I wanted it to be. Or in general, it's like, it's cliche, but it really is about the journey. Like, so far in doing stand-up, the random moments of hanging out with other comics, road trips, you know, all that has been just as good and just as rewarding and fulfilling. The conversations like this with comics have been just as meaningful as performing. However, you do need to actually kind of do the thing to be a real member, to feel like you're a part of. It's just like recovery. It's like if I got loaded and I went to meetings, I wouldn't really be able to share in the community in an authentic way. Like, in order to be a part of stand-up, I need to still do stand-up. But the community is really great, or it can be. And so it can also be really shitty, you know, but that's anything. Anything is give and take. But I think, like, some of my dreams or some of the things that I would like to do is I would really like to do a TV show.
I'll watch it.
It would be so cool. Some of the stuff that I've experienced with, like, recovery and, like, just the crazy characters in my life and stuff and people and addiction and everything. There's just so many things that I'm like, that would be the perfect medium to express those. Like some of my friends, like the friend with the green card. Like, I have so many different, like, crazy people in my life that just insane moments. Like, there was a time where I was living with all sober heroin addicts. And one of them was selling mushrooms, even though he was sober. And, like, we were all, like, we were both getting, like, unemployment from the government. Like, it was just insane.
It's already sitcom. The
like,
premise is already
and then
so funny.
One of the guys relapsed, and so he was, like, on Oxycontin, and it was just, there's so many random things. You know, I have a friend, who his dad, like, died in a shed. The shed burned down, and he was drunk and inside of it. And it's like, that's really sad, and that guy was, like, very meaningful to me. But I still find ways to make, you know, I find the funny in things that are dark because I had to, because And I have to, because life is filled with a lot of darkness if you're paying attention. And if you live a certain kind of life, you're just going to be exposed to more of it. I've been exposed to so much death in my life. And because I've been friends with a lot of heroin addicts, and heroin addicts die, you know?
Yeah.
And so, so you learn to have a different like perspective on death and life. And so I would like to do a TV show for sure. I'd like to finish this book that I've been working on, and I'd like that to be what I want it to be. You know, I don't know if you've ever read like, Dr. Hunter Thompson or like On the Road, Jack Kerouac.
I'm thinking about this book that I read of Jimmy O. Yang. I think it was American Dream or something. But like that book was so funny. It was a very funny book.
Yeah, I don't think the book is necessarily funny. It's more like, because I think with stand-up I'm able to make these like stories and experiences funny. With the book, it's more like, it's kind of an opportunity for me to be like an emo boy and just be like, this is the sad philosophical kind of take on all these things,
So you already started it?
Yeah, I have like 200 plus pages.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool. I'm actually, I want to write a book.
Yeah.
I do want to write a book. I just never started. And kudos to you for starting it and writing 200 pages.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a lot of writing is really hard.
Yeah, it is.
And so I would really like to finish that this year. I've been saying that for a while.
But how far are you off, you think?
I don't know, because it's not like, I know that I can't cover everything. And in a way, it's just a collection of stories and thoughts and like essays, but still kind of a theme. It's called An American Summer.
Okay.
And it's like about just trying to make it as an artist in America.
I would love it. I would love to read it. I'll buy it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, before we wrap the pod, do you want to plug anything to the listeners?
Sure. Yeah. So, and to finish the goal thing real quick.
The goal?
The goal.
The goal, yes.
Obviously, I have other goals. Those are the ones that are pressing in my mind right now. I'd love to do another stand-up special.
Yes.
I'd love to be in some movies or make a movie. I just want to continue to make stuff that I feel is meaningful to me. And so whatever, if that's, again, after I finish this book, if I want to write another book, we do one TV show. Like, I just want to keep, doing stuff, making completed stuff, but also performing.
Danny, I'm here for all of them.
Thank you.
That sounds like an awesome dream. I share a lot of them, actually. It's very cool.
We're all pretty similar at the end of the day.
No, I'm way hotter. Okay. So anything you want to plug?
Sure. You can check out, I have a full-length comedy special on YouTube. It's called My Ex Drug Dealer. My YouTube is Danny Fallon Haha. That's also my handle for all my social media accounts. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Check me out. Eventually, hopefully, ideally, God willing, I'll finish the book.
Amen.
And then I'll put that on my Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that. But I also do a lot of sketches, which are on my YouTube, and also Sam Lichtenstein, his YouTube, because he's my sketch partner. We do a lot of sketch comedy, and I've been doing a lot of that. So you can check those out on my YouTube or his YouTube.
I'm actually a subscriber.
Oh, awesome.
Okay. Thank you, Danny, for coming out.
Of course.
And listeners, I'll see you next week. Bye.
Thanks for having me.